On the surface, it's just this gothic nightmare where you're hunting werewolves in a Victorian city. You die a lot. You scream at your TV, standard From Software stuff. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night, and I'm not even joking. Bloodborne might be one of the most brutal takedowns of how societies collapse that I've ever seen. Like, forget your poli-sci textbook. This game basically said, let me show you how power structures eat themselves alive, and then made you fight a guy with a bag on his head. So today we're putting on our sociology glasses, which, yeah, sounds boring, but stick with me. Because once you see Yharnam as an actual society, instead of just a scary video game city, you can't unsee it. And honestly, it gets pretty dark. Let's talk about how Bloodborne accidentally predicted, well, a lot. Part 1, the church runs everything, and that's the problem. Alright, so Yharnam has this thing called the Healing Church. Now, when you first hear that name, you're probably thinking, oh, okay, like a hospital meets a cathedral. That's kinda neat. Wrong, so wrong. The Healing Church doesn't just help people, they have a complete monopoly on the one thing everyone desperately needs, blood ministration. It's medicine, it's religion. It's your healthcare plan and your salvation all rolled into one creepy syringe. And here's where it gets sociologically spicy. This is textbook Marxist class structure. You've got your bourgeois elite, the church leaders, the vicars, all these people in fancy robes, sitting at Wall's top, controlling the literal lifeblood of society. And then you've got everyone else, the working class citizens of Yharnam, who have no choice but to depend on the church's blood to survive. But, and this is the kicker, the blood makes you sick. It turns you into a beast. The very thing that's supposed to save you is actually poisoning you. But you keep taking it because what else are you gonna do? Die? So you're trapped in this city where the system sustains itself by slowly destroying the people it claims to protect. I mean, damn. That's not subtle. That's FromSoft basically going, hey, what if we made a game about institutional addiction and called it a horror game? There's this moment, I don't know if you caught it, but there's NPC dialogue where someone says something like, the church has blessed us with their healing blood. Not helped us, blessed us. Like it's a gift from God that you should be grateful for. And that's how it works, right? When the people in power control the narrative, they don't need to force you. You thank them for your own exploitation. Oh, and those beasts you're hunting? Yeah, those used to be people. Poor people mostly. The ones who couldn't afford the good blood or got too much of the tainted stuff. So the elite literally create monsters out of the lower class and then they send you, another working class schmuck, to go kill them. It's genius. It's horrifying. It's both. Part 2. When science becomes a cult. Okay, so we've established the church is bad news, but there's this other faction in the game, Bürgerwerth, the scholars, the enlightened ones who were all about knowledge and discovery and understanding the cosmos. Surely they're better, right? They're scientists. Nope, they're worse. Or equally bad in a different way. See, there's this German sociologist, Max Weber, who talked about how societies become rationalized. Basically, how we optimize everything, turn life into systems and procedures, strip away the mystery. And he warned that when you rationalize too much, you don't get utopia, you get dehumanization. Bürgerwerth and the Healing Church are both doing the same thing, just with different aesthetics. The church uses faith, the scholars use research, but both of them are chasing contact with these cosmic gods, the great ones, not to help humanity, but to gain power. They're literally experimenting on people. There's a whole area in the game, the research hall, where they just tortured patients trying to elevate them. And the worst part, they probably thought they were doing something noble, progress, you know, science. This is where Foucault comes in. He said knowledge isn't neutral, it's a tool for control, and in Yharnam, whoever controls the truth about the great ones controls everything. The church decides what's holy, the scholars decide what's madness. And if you're a regular citizen, you don't get a vote, you just get told what to believe. There's this line from one of the scholars, I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like, we became more than human. And you look around at the results of their work and it's just bodies, experiments, failures. That's not transcendence, that's just institutional cruelty with a diploma. So Bloodborne is asking, what's the difference between faith and science if they both turn you into a monster? Part 3. Worship the thing that's killing you. Let me tell you about my favorite sociological concept that shows up in this game. Émile Durkheim's idea of the sacred. Durkheim said societies need sacred things, objects, rituals, beliefs that everyone agrees are special. It's what holds communities together. The sacred is pure, the profane is ordinary or corrupt. In Yharnam, blood is sacred. The church built an entire religion around it. People line up to receive it. Hunters are blessed by it. It's holy. But here's the twist Bloodborne pulls. The sacred thing is literally corrupting everyone. The blood is the poison, the gods are parasites, the holy mission is a lie. And yet, people keep believing because that's what ideology does. It makes you defend the system even when the system is killing you. There's this philosopher, Althusser, who called religion an ideological state apparatus. Basically, the church doesn't need cops or armies to control you. They just need you to internalize the rules, make you feel like rebellion is a sin. In Yharnam, you don't question the blood, you don't question the hunt, you don't question the church, because to question would mean you're, what, a heretic? A blasphemer? Better to become a beast than admit the church lied. I think about that a lot, actually. How many real-world systems work exactly like this? Where the people suffering the most are the ones defending it the hardest because they've been taught that the suffering is holy, that it's necessary, that it's their fault if it's not working. Yharnam isn't just a Gothic city, it's a social structure that's weaponized faith so efficiently it doesn't need walls or chains. Part 4. Motherhood as cosmic horror. Alright, we need to talk about the women in this game, because Bloodborne has a lot to say about bodies, birth, and who gets to control them. So the great ones, these cosmic god things, they're obsessed with having children. There's actual item descriptions that say every great one loses its child and yearns for a surrogate. And guess who becomes the surrogates? Human women. The game is full of pregnancy imagery, stillbirths, blood, and this pervasive anxiety around motherhood. There's Ariana, who gets kidnapped and used as a birthing vessel. There's Queen Yharnam, who's literally hunted while pregnant. There's Uerdun, an invisible god who apparently just impregnates people. From a sociological lens, especially feminist theory, this is loaded. Victorian England, which Yharnam is clearly based on, was terrified of women's sexuality and reproductive power. Purity culture, the mad woman in the attic, all that stuff. Women's bodies were sites of control, regulation, and fear. And Bloodborne takes that anxiety and says, what if we made it literal? What if women's bodies were literally turned into vessels for cosmic entities and the church sanctioned it as holy? It's body horror, yes, but it's also a critique of how societies have always tried to control reproduction, decide who's allowed to have children, who's fit, who's worthy. The hunt, this endless cycle of violence, only exists because the church tried to use human women to create gods. They commodified birth, turned creation into a transaction, and now the whole city's paying for it. Part 5. The Endless Hunt, or Why Nothing Ever Gets Better. So here's the thing that really gets me about Bloodborne's story. The hunt never ends. You beat the game, congrats. And what happens? Either you die and wake up the next morning like it was all a dream, ready to do it again, or you literally become the thing the next hunter will have to kill. It's this Nietzschean eternal recurrence. History as a loop, society as a cycle that just keeps eating itself. Every generation, Yharnam has a hunt. The beasts multiply, the hunters rise up, blood flows in the streets, then it calms down, then it happens again, and nobody, not the church, not the scholars, not even the player, ever stops to ask, wait, why do we keep doing this? Because the hunt isn't meant to solve anything. It's meant to perpetuate itself. The beasts justify the hunters. The hunters create more beasts. The church profits from both. It's the perfect self-sustaining system of violence. Sound familiar? I'm not gonna get too preachy here, but think about how many real-world systems work this way. War on drugs, war on terror, tough on crime policies. They're not designed to end the problem. They're designed to manage it, maintain it, profit from it. Bloodborne is a game about a society that has completely forgotten how to imagine a world without violence, where the solution to corruption is more violence, where the response to monsters is becoming one. And the most terrifying part? Everyone in Yharnam thinks this is normal. So, yeah. Bloodborne, a game where you fight werewolves and eldritch gods, but also, accidentally, one of the smartest critiques of how power structures collapse under their own corruption. Yharnam didn't fall because of monsters. It fell because the people in charge decided their power was more important than the people they were supposed to protect. It fell because faith became a weapon, because science became dogma, because everyone was so busy hunting beasts they didn't notice they were becoming them. And honestly, that's the scariest part of the whole game. Not the bosses, not the cosmic horror, the fact that every single system in Yharnam makes perfect sense if you're inside it, if you've internalized the ideology, if you believe the blood is holy and the hunt is necessary. It's only when you step back, when you look at the ruins, the bodies, the endless cycle, that you realize this whole time the city was killing itself and it was calling it salvation. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I reading too much into a game about werewolves? Probably, but that's what makes it fun. Thanks for watching.